This is Aaron at PowerPopaholic.com. I am talking right now with Ryan Allen, who is a leader of the band Extra Arms. And I'm so glad to have you on this program, Ryan. You have a new album out that I think is terrific called Radar. I think basically once you guys started recording in 2022's What Is Even Happening Right Now, I was kind of blown away by how good that album was. And this album, you keep bumping up the quality of the music. And maybe you tell me a little bit about how this process went through, and also the ever evolving name that you've had for the band. Because at one point it was Ryan Allen and his Extra Arms, then it was Extra Arms, then you had your own solo album. And where does this all fit in?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on and appreciate the super kind words. I can answer both of your questions at the same time because they're related.
Great.
Prior to changing the name from Ryan Allen and his Extra Arms to Extra Arms, it was pretty much just me, calling all the shots and really like playing all the instruments. And, when you're kind of when you're creating in that sort of vacuum, there's decisions that you make that you might not have made, or there might be different decisions that you make if there were more people involved, right? So as
Right.
soon as I started to involve more people in the songwriting and the recording process, like the evolution began,
I
and I
see.
think from our first record that we made as a band, Headacre, to now, it's only gotten more and more collaborative along the way, right? There's been, some like I guess like left turns from uh that aesthetic, right? Like there has been moments where I've been a little bit more like, okay, it's going to be this way and it's going to sound like this, and here's the demo and just learn the thing, right?
Yes.
But for the most part, from Headacre to now, um, you know, I I think I've gotten less precious about the songs, to be honest with you, like less sort of like, it has to be this way that I've sort of like had it in my head around the demo. And I also feel like, you just kind of like relax really over
That's
time,
a
like you,
great description, because I hear that in the music as well, particularly like I said after 2022. Basically I guess that was like a COVID album more or less, or songs that
sure.
were written during COVID that you were kind of like
Hmm.
coalescing because they were I guess you were collaborating with your band long distance and getting tracks digitally brought in, and then having to mix it all together. But this
Hmm.
album, I think, like I said, it you step on the gas and you keep going all the way through, and it's
Yeah.
great. I want to ask you, as far as where some of these songs came from or how they evolved. One song in particular I kind of liked, but I want to know more about, is Inflatable Boys. Who are the
Mhm.
Inflatable Boys?
Oh man, wouldn't you like to know, man? No, Inflatable Boys, it's really just a song about toxic masculinity, honestly. Like it's a pretty like straightforward, in my mind, song about people who sort of, walk around as if, they're untouchable, but they sort of end up being the most like like I guess easy to like upset,
Yeah,
and without getting like too political, there's certain people who have certain beliefs that I think are very like rigid and simple minded, but when challenged they sort of wilt, I guess. Wilter, is that a word? I don't think it is.
no,
Wilt like a flower,
right.
they sort of like when confronted it's like they're just like uh hanging on to like headlines and hearsay and things that aren't like necessarily based in fact, so that's kind of my pot shot, I guess, at that kind of like mentality and those types of people, and they tend to be white men. So um
Okay.
it's a that's my perspective anyway. And
All right.
so yeah, but then I guess uh to answer your first question, I think we just really, or for me, I guess, we got a new guitar player kind of between the last record and this record. And
Right.
it really like sort of put the thought in my head that knowing how he played and his style, just really wanted to like create space and room for him, not only as a guitar player in terms of just like putting little lead guitar lines and things like that. His name's Jordan Wright. I should say his name. Um, but he's also a songwriter, and he was really instrumental in kind of like suggesting you know tweaks to lyrics, which people don't normally do in the band, or just changing chords or ending on a different chord than you might naturally want to end on, and making things a little like off kilter for a second. And I
Sure.
really loved that he did that, and I think it really pushed us in a really kind of like more imaginative direction. Maybe if I was, again, sort of like, you know, driving the bus, so to speak. So, not to say that the other guys don't contribute and they don't have ideas. They do for sure. Dan, our drummer, Ryan, our bass player, they both, have thoughts and ideas as well. But I guess like this particular set of songs, we really came together and really tried to like, you know, uh, make democratic decisions, I guess, as sort of a team, you
Well,
know.
it definitely works, and I would say, keep this, keep the team together because you do a great
Yeah.
job. I know the song. I guess the album. Sorry, I know the album was named after what the bass player's dog, Radar. Correct.
Yes,
And there's
sure.
a great song in the middle of the album called "Mad Dog Blue."
Uh,
Phenomenal rock song, great drumming leads it off. It's just, and it feels like a show ender, like something you'd play at the
mm,
end of the show. It even says in the lyric, "We're running out of time."
yeah.
Um, why was that placed in the middle as opposed to the last song of the album? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I think it felt like maybe what's before that? Is
Before
it
that is "Shut
uh
'Em Down."
yeah, I don't know. Like Shut 'Em Down felt like kind of really like compact and sort of crunchy. And I wanted something that came after it to sort of be this big open sort of approach, like there's a
Mhm.
tension to Shut 'Em Down that is not necessarily in Mad Dog Blue. Mad Dog Blue is a little more wistful, it's a little more open. It's
Right.
got acoustic guitar in it, it's more jangly and like open chords and stuff. So I keep doing this with my hands because that's my open pantomime. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I could definitely see it closing a show too. It's definitely got that kind of Who like windmill
Yep.
guitar kind of like stuff going on. And yeah, I mean, I just if when you're putting together like a track list, at least for me, like I'm trying to like counterbalance what's happening before and what's happening after. And so it's not just this like monotone thing the whole way through, or like I don't know if you like I don't just listen to like rock music, like dance music and electronic music. Like if you've ever been to, a bar or a club or whatever where there's like really great DJ, they're able to sort of take you on this journey, and like
Yes.
I think of putting a track list together is like that same, that same aesthetic and so yeah, you're just kind of, part of it's like a feeling, you're just sort of making decisions based off of feeling. Sometimes, you know, um, the song might end in a key and you want to start it in a like complementary key. I mean, there's a bunch of like inside baseball,
Yeah. No, I
theories
get
on
it. I get
what
it.
what makes a good track list. But
You do a great job, basically preventing things from, you know, feeling the same. You basically, you don't put songs with the same tempo next to each other, that kind of
yeah, I
thing.
try not to.
Yeah, which is really, really good. I love the anthems. I mean, a lot of the songs, especially the first five tracks, really take sound like anthems to me. That really speak to me. Really
Cool.
well put together as well. One of my favorites over there is "I Don't Want to Surrender." It's basically, I don't care how old I get. I just want to keep rocking and rolling. I love that sentiment that's very popular among musicians that are our age or older, and
Yeah,
and I
sure.
think you can never say it enough. It's one of those things, Long Live Rock, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I kind of love that, and I also I liked almost every song on this album. I think was great. It's getting in my top 10 for 2024. So it
appreciate that.
it's what else can I say that I haven't already said in the review? But the point being is, one of the questions I had is, how are you supporting this album? Are you going to be playing in a bunch of places locally, or are you going to go across the country? How are you supporting the album?
We're all of a certain age with, responsibilities, kids and full-time jobs and stuff. So it's, like, and you it's an expensive thing to do, like you're
Absolutely.
uh putting yourself in a position where you have to be comfortable with the fact that you're not going to make money, you know. Um
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter if
Welcome
we
to the
go out
music
for,
business.
yeah, I mean, I've trust me, I've been doing this a long time, so I definitely have been through the ringer in many different ways, since my 20s. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna play, some regional stuff. We've got some shows coming up in the end of June, on the 21st in Cleveland, 22nd in Dayton, and then the 23rd in Fort Wayne. And then we're playing a local show on the 26th, um, with this band Pony. He's great, and we'll probably sprinkle in some things here and there. Gonna try maybe to go to Chicago. Maybe get out to New York. It's
That
definitely
would
like
be
always
great.
on my like list of things to try to do. It's been a long time, but and this band's never played in New York City, but I've played New York many, many times in my life. So always want to try to get back there. So we'll see what happens before the end of the year. I really want to try next year to go to Spain.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah,
there's a big following for power pop over there, and
absolutely.
there's bands like the Whiffs and Uni Boys, and some of these bands are like I like those bands, but I and it's not a contest, but like we're as good as those bands are. Like
Oh yeah.
why can't we go over there and play too?
Well,
So
yeah,
there's a small little plan that I'm sort of starting to hatch to see if I can make that a possibility. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but
yeah. Well,
I'm
no,
working
Kurt
on it.
Kurt Baker. I think when he was playing, he basically set up a band in Barcelona and stayed there for several years. And
Yeah.
recorded a couple albums there before he came back to Connecticut. So it's definitely doable by I think anybody
Yeah.
who really wants to go to Spain and check out the music scene there. It's a vibrant music scene for sure.
Yeah, we'll
So
see. I
yeah.
haven't told I haven't told my bandmates. I haven't told my bandmates that I'm thinking about that yet. So
Well, they'll know now.
hey guys, if you listen to this, I'd like to go on tour in Spain. Just letting you know.
Come to New York first. That's my only caveat. But add to that.
All right.
So now you've got this in the can. We're promoting it, and it's really good. Do you have plans for you have extra songs that you want to put on a new album that's sort of in the making? Are you working on continuing to write?
Yeah, I'm always writing. I kind of like take breaks here and there just to be honest, to stop myself from writing more songs because you get to a point where you're just like you start to get attached to them and you can't. I mean, you could, I guess, put them all out, but you want to try to pick the best ones. But um, I have probably about 12 or 13 songs from since we, finished recording Radar, that are new, and they're all demoed. And then I probably wrote, I guess, maybe like 10, 15 more songs
Wow.
during the writing process of Radar. So those are kind of hanging out, and some of them are probably not as relevant, lyrically or whatever, and maybe sound wise to what I'm really trying to, kind of drive towards now. But there's some things hanging around, and I'm thinking maybe the next thing is to just I like it when bands release demos of their whatever records out. So I'm kind of mixing or remixing, kind of like getting a mix I'm happy with of the demos of Radar. Um, so I might throw those online in the next couple of months. We'll see. I mean, it would just be like a band camp only kind of thing.
Sure,
Um,
sure. Oh, that's
But
great.
I work, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I can imagine us doing another record, probably not this year, but like maybe early next year, starting to work on some stuff. We'll see. Maybe even, around the holidays we can start cracking in some new shit. So
Oh, that would
yeah,
be awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
always scheming, always scheming over
That's a
here.
good thing for a musician to do. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate the time. And, everyone, check out the album Extra Arms. It's out now and it's fabulous. It's going to be it's in my top 10 list for 2024. So don't hesitate. And Ryan, congrats and keep writing, keep recording, keep going, brother.
I don't know what else to do with my life. So thanks,
All
bro.
right, there you
Appreciate
go.
you, man.
All right,
All
take
right. Have a
care.
good night.